Good morning, Scott Cullen here with the Cannata Report. It's time once again for Fridays with Frank. And before I bring Frank on, I do want to remind you, if you're like what we're doing here, hit that like button. And if you'd like to subscribe as well to our YouTube channel, please do that as well. And now, please welcome our founder, Frank Cannata. How you doing, Frank?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Scott. After 2 weeks on the road, I am so happy to be sitting here. That the 5 days we spent together in at the Sharp meeting, and then the following week, another 5 days, only this time in St. Lucia with the American Co-op group. It was pleasant. I mean, but I'm just so glad to be back home. I'm excited. I think the 2 weeks, the first week with the Sharp dealers in Vegas, and then follow that up. Many of the same dealers that were in Vegas belong to American Co-op. So we had quite an interesting opportunity to follow up on what was going on. Anyway, got into a major discussion on production print, Sharp and production print. And I hope our readers have seen the Frankly Speaking piece that I did, where I talked about the reasons that I believe that, or we believe that Sharp will be successful in production print. And what I want to do this morning is to make our audience aware where this information comes from. How do we form these opinions? Well, they come from our survey. We've been doing this survey for 38 years. So I wanted to see, how can I validate what I had said in the Frankly Speaking piece? 30 to 35 Sharp dealers will take on production print. Now, first of all, if you look at the 91 dealers that participated in last year's survey, their average revenue was 8 million, which we all know is not going to cut it in production print. So what I did is take a hard look at who made up this 91 million. So lo and behold, we had 15 that did almost $500 million, actually 496 million, with an average revenue of 33 million. Now, true, that's only 15, and we got a little bit further to go to get to 30 or 35. I then took a look at what Sharp dealers were already selecting Xerox as a second source in A3. And that, to me, struck me. Why would a Sharp dealer take on Xerox in A3? Because I don't think the Fuji line really is as good as the Sharp line. So I was kind of curious. But nonetheless, for whatever reason, they took it on. We had 12 dealers who took on, the 12 Sharp dealers who have Xerox in a secondary position. And they too are not, way above what the average revenue is for Sharp dealers. They're at, those 12 dealers generated roughly 190 million with an average of 15.8 million. So in both cases, you seem to have sufficient evidence that at least there's dealers in that group that have the resources to enter into production print. But let's take this further. The 91 dealers, that's not all there is to Sharp. If you take a very conservative estimate, and I think it's very conservative, they got at least 350 active dealers. So what does that mean? The 91 only represent 26% out of the 350 dealers? So can we assume then that 259 dealers that did not participate in the survey, that we will get at least 15 to 20 of those that are equally in that category? So that's the foundation for me to make the statement because I'm sure some people must have read that and said, this doesn't quite correlate. Distribution that has average dealer revenue at 8 million is going to sell production print. I didn't say in huge numbers. Uh, I did say 30 to 35, plus they have 18 branches. And that's the long and the short of it in terms of where this number comes from. And the important thing for us is by virtue of the survey, we know who these dealers are. So if we had a question about anything at all, and let's assume production print, we can call them. They don't mind. And by the way, the 38th survey is being conducted as we speak, which leads me to a point that I want to make. For the dealers that are watching, we need your participation. I don't care which of the manufacturers you represent that are your primary suppliers or secondary suppliers. It is the foundation for all that we do in terms of being able to come up with solutions, determinations, evaluations about where dealers are going and what they're capable of doing. Without that continuing support, it severely limits us and makes it extremely difficult for us to do the research. And the last thing I want to say about this, it's sad when we see a manufacturer no longer wish to support or provide an incentive, how quickly the number of dealers deteriorate that participate. We have two manufacturers that elected not to provide an incentive, and we respect them both. It's Canon and Konica Minolta. It's no secret. We stated in all our writings they don't provide an incentive. And each year, the Canon and Konica Minolta dealers participate less and less. But don't let an incentive limit what you do, because this helps you, because it gives us all the information that we share everything with you. That's my message for today.